Creating a confident and magnetic personality. As you've probably noticed, having an education or a lot of knowledge does not make you a personality, a person of magnetism and presence, and that's what this lesson is going to be about. I'm going to share with you the components of having such a personality. Back in the day, a few hundred years ago, people were known by their character, okay? You were only known within your village, within your immediate sphere, and whether somebody was a good guy or not was known by his character. But nowadays, our society has changed, and many people are no longer connected to their little villages. They're global people, okay? And they're often lonelier people than they used to be. So you can no longer really judge somebody by their character. There has to be something else, and I call that charisma or presence. Charisma and presence are the currency of the future in a society that is getting increasingly individualistic and isolated. That is not to say that character is no longer important. It very much is. In fact, it's the first component of developing personal magnetism and attractiveness. Okay? So character and integrity, as I call it, what is it? Integrity is doing the right thing, whether it's convenient or not, whether somebody's watching or not. It's doing the right thing even when others are not watching. It's having the intention to do that which is good, pure, and beautiful. And in so being, you develop a certain magic, a certain magnetism that cannot be bought, that cannot be educated. It's something that people feel subconsciously. They feel whether you're a person that can be relied on or not. And it's one of the main components of having this charisma, this aura. Now, in simple terms, it's just being a good person. Just being a person that others can look up to. Being a role model. Okay? And having the inner intention to love and to care and to nurture and to appreciate. Integrity also involves saying no to things that are not good and not right. And that may sound easy when I'm talking about it here, but sometimes in real life it's not that easy to say no out of politeness. Okay, so many people would prefer to be polite than to be honest and stay true to their personal feelings of what's right and wrong, or their personal knowledge of what's right and wrong. Saying no to appointments that are not right for you, to activities that seem not right for you, and so forth and so on. So keeping your authentic integrity is often a matter of saying no more often, as well as the difficult task of cutting ties to people that do not live in that kind of integrity. Okay? So there might be somebody in your life who's saying, look, let's only do this once. I know it's not legal or anything, but nobody's going to notice. It's okay. Let's just do it once. And as a person of integrity, even if it is something that nobody's ever going to find out, and even if it does give you a short-term advantage, if you're a person of inner values and integrity, you're not going to do it. All right? Now, I'm not talking about being a square and always following the rules, which is conformity. I'm not talking about that. That's not charismatic either. Okay? Somebody who's going to tell on you if you cross the red light once, who's going to report you to the authorities for that. That's being a square. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about having a sense of action and reaction, having a sense of that which you put out into the world, you will get back. Okay? It's a bit different than morals. Morals are religious terms that are indoctrinated into you with the threat of punishment. They're often fear-based, okay? So if you do this and this, you're going to go to hell. And that's the way we used to motivate ourselves to stay integrous, and that's okay. But that's not what high consciousness beings need anymore. They don't need threats of punishment. They have their own inner navigation system of integrity. Okay, there's a difference between doing the right thing because you feel in your heart that it's right, or doing it because you're afraid of punishment or afraid of hellfire. Big difference. The next component of a magnetic personality or charisma is fascination and enthusiasm. Fascination is one of the greatest keys there is. A fascinated person is going to shine. Okay, I'll say this again. A fascinated person shines. So in those moments in which you are fascinated and really into something and immersed in something and follow things in life that make you curious and make you want to learn, and where you say, oh, that is so amazing, that is so beautiful, that is so interesting. This very moment you're shining, your energy is shining, okay? Fascination and enthusiasm are as if you start glowing from an energetic perspective. So that naturally means that you shouldn't be spending most of your time with things that don't interest you, that bore you, which is unfortunately what most people do. You see, they follow a job that is not extraordinary, that does not excite them, and thus become dull. Even if they keep trying to generate that excitement within, they eventually become dull because they're never generating any enthusiasm, any energy. Enthusiasm, just like integrity, is another currency of the future, more important than gold. Your energy is more important than gold, okay, for any purpose. Enthusiasm generates health, generates happy customers, generates good quality in whatever you produce. I'd say that fascination is actually the main key of becoming well known in public. For those of you who want to become well-known actors or writers or singers, I recommend you develop fascination. In developing fascination, you are developing high energy that flows onto your audience. Another component of becoming a confident personality is to stop being timid and meek, okay? Being timid means you always feel that you don't want to rock the boat, or you don't want to impose on anyone, and that's good. It's good not to impose on people. It's very good not to force people. But some people take that to a point, I don't want to be a burden, I don't want to impose, that they become too timid. They become too small. They make themselves very small. Okay? Likewise, the other extreme is making yourself too big and always imposing your will on others with no regard for other people's feelings. That's the other extreme. That's not what I'm talking about either. You can be assertive and courageous and bold and strong without being angry and controlling. Okay, that's the point I'm making here. So timid people are often timid because they think that people with a strong will, with strength and courage, are too controlling of others. But that's not the case at all. I mean, just watch me speak at a live event and hear how my voice booms across the hall, or in these videos, and how I walk with determination and know exactly what I want, and speak with a bold and firm and authoritative voice. But I do all that without anger. There's no anger in that, and there's no will to control others. I have great respect for other people, great respect for their reality frames. Okay? So it's neither imposing nor timid, it's something in between. It's a balance you have to find, and in that balance between the two, you find magnetism, attractiveness. The next thing you have to know about this is that the will and awareness and attention is stronger than intellect, information, and education. Okay? In this society, it is thought that information is key, that education is key, that knowledge is key. But that's not the case. If that were the case, then internet would have made everybody a super attractive, successful, amazing person, which it is not. It's only filled people with loads of data, much of the data being false data, false information. It's only filled people's minds with beliefs from which they then perceive reality. Inner personal power does not come from information, it comes from the will, from awareness, from observing, from attention. Okay? So you want to be more interested in developing your will than in accumulating data and information from TV or from your smartphone or from the internet. In fact, accumulating too much information is going to overload you and weaken your will, weaken your electric powers and your magnetic powers, which is what this comes down to. I'll give you an example for this. If you spend an hour watching a show on TV or an hour visualizing your dream life, what do you think is going to make you stronger? Well, of course, the visualization. Okay, and most people don't even have the power to do that anymore, to come up with their own images, because they keep getting the visualizations and images from the TV. They're weakening their own will by doing so. So you want to train your own imagination, you want to train your own attention and your own will, and thus become increasingly stronger. And it'll appear as if you're some kind of wizard or magician or something, because most people just don't do that. Okay, they allow external reality to deliver everything for them and don't develop their own authentic path and way based upon their inner world, based upon what they received in prayer, based upon what they received in meditation, based upon what they've visualized. So, as already talked about in many of my books and videos, you need to develop faith to experience the things you want in life. And faith can only be developed if you can intend and concentrate in a certain manner. Okay, faith is actually intention and concentration and enthusiasm put together. The emotion of enthusiasm, concentration, and intention. If you put those three together, you have something called faith. And that is purely from inside. It's not from outside, because in the outside, you never have evidence of the things you want to have faith in. You have to start inside. Now, the next component of developing a magnetic and electric, I'll add that, personality, magnetic and electric, an electromagnetic personality, is to give people, give them what? Give them assurance, give them hope, give them convenience, give them care, affirm what they're doing, give them positive reinforcement without needing any yourself. Okay? And with most people, because most people are not electric and are not magnetic, it's them wanting assurance from others, wanting to get convenience, wanting to be affirmed, and so forth. But you want to reverse that, and you want to take responsibility for the beings and the people around you. Even just caring for a pet or caring for a partner or a child will make you more responsible and broaden your sphere of energy. If you're alone all the time and have nothing to cultivate and give to, you're not going to develop that power. It's one of the big secrets of reality. The next component is to dress in the way you'd like to be addressed. Okay? In your appearance. And I always hear people say, don't judge by appearances. I don't judge by what people look like. And that's useless to say, because we all do that subconsciously, by nature, almost genetically, while primed to judge by appearances. If we weren't judging by appearances, we wouldn't survive as a species. Okay, we'd get bitten by a poisonous snake. You see, the poisonous snake appears dangerous, and if we wouldn't judge it by that appearance, we'd be dead already. So, while you yourself don't have to judge people by their appearance, you can see into their innermost soul. Don't assume that others are not going to do it. People are definitely going to judge you by the way you dress and by the way you look. That's not to say that you should obsess over clothing and makeup. It's not to say that you should become vain and make that your primary focus. Okay? I myself almost never look into the mirror. I don't put on much more than deodorant. Nonetheless, there has to be some basic awareness of how you look, and the knowledge that nowadays it's so easy to rise above the crowds, because most people actually dress sloppily. They don't put any awareness or effort into how they dress. So just dressing a little bit nicely is going to put you above the crowds instantly. Okay, and knowing that that's how easy it is to be noticed by just dressing nicely, you'll probably do it more often. You see, back in the, let's say in the 1950s or 1920s, it wasn't that easy. You could dress fantastically, but it wouldn't make a difference because everybody else was well dressed too. It would make no difference whatsoever, but nowadays it does make a difference. Putting that little bit of more effort into things does make a difference, because even in other things, not only in dressing, our modern society has become very quick, convenient, and lazy. So if you put just a little bit more effort into your website, the way your website appears, or just a little bit more effort into your email, instead of having it be terse and sloppy, just a little bit more detail into that phone call, you instantly rise above the crowds. And that makes an impression. That makes you shine, makes you electric and magnetic. The rest of this video can be viewed in the Reality Creation and Manifestation video course, week number 11.